Is that what
Yes,
we call
he
it?
likes to do
Good evening,
haikus.
ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to the Fun Show here at Big TV. This is the September 16th edition of the Fun Show. Michael Sallin is hunting around the white and black keys, seeing if he can discover a tune on the Kira keyboard.
And keys too.
And sitting between Michael and myself is Kira Miner. So here we are, folks. We're back again, and there's the various and sundry things that are going on in the world, most of them bad.
True.
But it raises the issue, the Twitterer in chief keeps sending out stupid little Twitter messages, which in ordinary times would be of major importance, you know. One country attacks another, causes a 15% jump in oil prices.
Not yet.
You know.
Not yet.
Oh, no. Yet.
Yet.
Just hasn't hit the gas stations yet. But crude went up 15% immediately.
Immediately.
And that has to come down to us.
Oh, yes.
Which it will.
They're paying for it. So we gotta.
And then he claims that, I guess he's really, really upset that Obama gets to say that Osama bin Laden was killed on his watch. So now this guy's claiming that he's killed Osama bin Laden's son. But here's the basic issue.
Okay.
You can't believe anything this guy says.
That's the problem.
So you don't know what to believe. You know?
I'm not sure why anyone's listening.
Some people write stories on it. I've read the stories, and there's not one additional source in the stories. How in the world can a reporter in good faith write a story based on what Donald Trump says?
Well, they make sure to tell you that.
Well, they don't always make sure.
Most of them say something to that effect.
That's what
they
he said.
mark it a little.
Say.
Yeah.
Donnie Boy says.
Yes.
Donnie Boy says.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be fun if Osama bin Laden's son, you know, showed up on BBC or something.
Personally, I'd just rather him be dead, though, at the end of the day.
No, that's true.
You know.
He's probably, in fact, from the back reporting I've been able to find, he's probably been dead for 7 or 8 months.
Yes.
And for some reason they didn't want to report it, but Mr. Ego, you know, just flowed in one ear and right through his thumbs.
Well, they said that there were 3 or 4 women that he was having that were part of his club there, and when they took him down, his club,
his harem.
You could call it a harem.
Yeah.
Well, we'll tell you.
But the reason I brought it up is there were a lot of kids involved. He had a whole bunch of children there.
Okay.
We'll tell you a little something else about Donnie J. Donnie J's last 4 trips, just his last 4 trips to Mar-a-Lago, have cost the American taxpayer $13.6 million.
For him, it's ice cream money. You know that.
That's, you know.
Yeah, that we have to pay for it. That's the point.
That's $3.5 million every time he goes to play golf.
Yeah.
And 60,000 of that went directly in his pocket.
Okay.
Because it was paid to Mar-a-Lago.
Gotcha.
Well,
right?
Listen, the guy has to live, you know. He said he wasn't taking any money towards his salary.
He's taking more money than the rest of us will ever have on things. In any way, I'm thinking of people we'd like to see dead.
Oh.
Which I say in part because the Republicans actually ran a commercial during the Democratic debate calling for the assassination of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah,
that's insane.
I
didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, though, so of course I wouldn't see it, but that's ridiculous.
I mean,
it's kind of,
really?
That's not criminal?
That's criminal and
definitely
pretty
a problem.
chintzy for them.
There's going to be consequences.
They paid to run an ad calling for her killing.
Right.
Now, was it tongue-in-cheek?
Oh, hell no.
Okay, then there's got to be a consequence for that.
That bunch was.
Well,
You know who
That'd be
leads that
interesting.
bunch?
who
is,
knows? In
Mitch.
any case, talking about it.
I was talking about dead
It's your
people.
spot.
Oh, is that was
This
the
was my-
Passover,
this
the
was my
segue.
segue.
That was your segue.
This was my segue. I
Speaking
talked
of
about-
people we want dead,
No,
but not
no.
these people.
No, okay.
Not these people. But that was your segue.
was my
That was
segue.
your segue. Okay.
Segue's like
so,
that.
We're
I don't know what to do with the segue.
We're going to work this
That's
out.
Okay, yeah.
full of brush company thing, Segway, isn't it?
Segway?
The Segway is
No,
Segway.
it was
It's
that,
company
it was that
Segway.
stand-up motorized
You know
thing.
what a segue
Yeah, I know
was.
that thing you
They
walk.
seem to have disappeared, haven't
Okay.
they?
No.
No, they're still
No,
using it.
Really?
no.
I
There's
thought
like a
only-
whole tour around Boston on one.
I think that's
It's super dangerous.
It's still there? I think
Yes.
it's died.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I
we
know
could- we could get
liability-wise,
one
we
up
definitely
here
sue
and
It'd
run
be
them.
better
around.
to use those little scooters they have on the street here. It'd be
Yeah.
a lot safer.
No.
But I thought they were the total
No.
Provence of mall cops these days.
Not-
Lisa. All right.
Probably, but
The-
not, you know.
okay.
Oh, okay.
The necrology.
Okay, necrology. Let's see how fast we can do this. Okay. We have Michael Haynes.
Haynes.
Died at 92. He was a former minister and state rep of Massachusetts.
Yes, Boston State Rep. Yes.
Okay. We have Ruth Abrams, the first female justice of the Massachusetts Superior Court.
Supreme Judicial Court.
There we go.
You're the lawyer.
Hey, I'm not a lawyer yet. Don't
First
sell
one.
that. Besides, I'm still trying to read your handwriting. Juanita Abernathy was the wife of Ralph Abernathy, which was MLK's right-hand man. Any Money, 2 Tickets to Paradise singer. How old? 70. Died at 70. Do we know how he died?
No.
Okay. I think we should get some more information in the future.
No.
Larry-
Takes up to. We only got a half
Okay,
hour.
right. Fine. Larry Garon, 82, Patriots, fullback.
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 Oh,
and still holds the record for the longest run from scrimmage in
Yeah, I
Patriot
saw
history.
that too.
Okay.
Good.
Rick Ocasek. Ocasek of the Cars was 75. Phyllis Newman, a Tony winner.
Organizer, leader, and lead singer of the Cars.
Okay, and then Phyllis Newman was 86. She's a Tony winner for Broadway musicals, yes?
Yes.
And her husband was a Broadway musical writer.
Yes.
Adolph Green.
One of her most famous roles was starring in Subways Are for Sleeping.
Okay, never even heard of it.
No, I know.
Okay.
On Broadway.
Well, and then last we
You
have,
were too young.
fair enough, Paul Ingracia, who used to something Reuters, what did you say? Pulitzer Prize winner.
He was the executive editor of Reuters News Service.
Okay.
All right,
All
thank
right,
you.
Thank you. I'm going to work on
Bye.
this, okay? This is fed to me, as you can see.
It was a tough time in football yesterday.
Yes, for the
Very
Falcons
tough time
or whatever they
for
call it.
elderly quarterbacks, in fact. Now, nothing happened to Tommy, although I
Okay.
was quite worried because we had 3 linemen
Mine
missing.
out.
Okay.
And so they were getting to Tommy
Yeah.
and working him over pretty good. But he seems to come out with a big smile on his face and no problem. But the next 2 oldest quarterbacks in the league,
Not
Drew
good.
Brees of the Saints,
Yeah.
is now out for 6 to 7 weeks
Yeah.
on the strangest injury. He threw a pass, and as he followed through, he hit some onrushing lineman's hand.
Hand.
I mean, hand into hand, tore ligaments in his thumb.
Oh.
And the indestructible Ben Roethlisberger,
Poor guy.
the quarterback of the Steelers, who we embarrassed last week,
Yeah.
done for the season. And
Bad.
Give
What
him-
happened?
he actually ripped ligaments or tendons in his elbow,
Okay.
not getting hit or anything, just throwing the
Throwing.
ball. But
That's what age does to you.
but
that's right.
Seriously,
but
unfortunately.
And they called me and said, "Can you fill in?" And I said, "No, under the circumstances, I think
I
not."
thought you were going to
Passed this time.
operate then.
Yeah, you were going to do the operation for him.
Our Harvard quarterback from the last 2 years,
Yes.
Tommy Stewart, he's now the starting quarterback for Rice University.
Oh.
The only problem is that the Rice is not very good.
But he got away from Murphy, though.
But it's one of the things, well, he graduated.
Yeah.
But it's one of the things
They could have
that's
stayed another year, maybe. To
no,
play.
because Harvard doesn't do red
That-
shirt stuff.
But they do.
But this team has like 7 or 8 what they call graduate transfers. College football has changed a great deal, and people are just switching around all the time. Every time you listen to a college game now, you know, every 5 minutes they're talking about how this kid transferred from this school and this kid transferred from this school.
And California
Okay.
You
says
know,
they should get paid.
Yeah, they're poaching them.
Yeah, well, my solution is just fold all these things like Alabama and UCLA and stuff, and make them minor league teams in their city. You know, just
Yeah, they could
get
do
them
that.
out of the pretense of football or college football, student athlete, which makes no sense. And then we have Mrs. nor Ms. Huffman,
Oh yes,
who
poor
For
lady.
14 days?
14 days, $30,000, 250 hours. I think it was perfectly appropriate.
It was the right. Everybody knows it. It was a little bit of a spanking because it was too public. You had to. She had to have a consequence.
Right.
And if she's,
Right.
did she plead guilty or not guilty?
She pled guilty.
Okay, I
She's the
thought
one
she
who
did.
pled guilty, apologized, no excuses,
Yeah.
etc.
was crying
Here we
when she
are.
left the
Yeah.
club.
But one of the
embarrassed. She's
things that made
embarrassed.
it necessary that she get some time was advocates who were saying, look, this woman who lied about her address to get her kids in a better, high school or a better grade school got, a week in jail. Or there's a
Yeah,
woman
yeah.
in New York who
Yeah.
did that.
So they used a
She got
comparative.
5 years.
Yeah.
So
So
of course it made a little bit of a difference apparently in the New York
So-
case
so-
because the woman
so-
had a rather long criminal record.
So what's going to
That's-
happen to
yeah.
all these other people that are going?
Well,
out
the
here?
other one, the other, Hollywood starlet.
big money.
Laughlin.
Said it?
Yeah.
yeah.
This apparently really freaked her out because, after all, Huffman's daughter didn't even get accepted anywhere.
No.
Oh.
So she didn't even take anybody's spot,
Okay.
right?
Right.
It was only
So here's this
15,000.
15,000, and it didn't
Okay.
do anything. There really was no harm.
Okay.
And this other one, 2 girls in USC, totally, so if this one gets 2 weeks, it's
You're
going
gonna
to
have
be
to.
it's going to be years.
Exactly. She's gonna have to have more.
And she's the one who turned down the deal and
Okay.
insisted that she would plead innocent and,
Yeah, it's got very.
Oops.
and go on.
Well,
to-
that's the consequences for these people and their children, like the emotional fallout with their kids, has got to be the biggest price that they're actually paying. The media stuff, all of that is like it sucks, but at the end of the day, your kid is looking you in the eye, going, "Really, Mom?
Yeah.
you had that
Really?
little faith in me.
Exactly. Like who? You raised me to do right and wrong, and here you really."
Unfortunately, that one though, the one who was on that
Full House.
Full House
Yeah.
show.
Lori Laughlin, I think it is.
Lori, yeah, something like that. The saddest part to me of that whole thing is that her kids didn't even want to go to college.
Right.
So it was not only you didn't have
Didn't do
faith
any
on me
favors.
to get into college, it's I told you I didn't want to go to
Exactly.
college.
Now look what you did, right?
Right. You ruined so many kids these days, their career path is they want to become an Instagram star.
Or what exactly? Like
And that's
you-
their
yeah.
ambition,
That's the extent of
They
it for
don't
some
want
of
an
them.
education. They want
Nope.
to stay home and put stuff
Well, they
on
could
the
be
internet.
on one
And
of these-
unfortunately, there's too many role models that's working for.
Yep.
They could be on one of those programs and win all that money too. Every
Win what money?
every night there's this one game show where they are constantly talking about 50,000 or 100,000 or everybody should get 10,000.
So what's the premise of the show?
I don't think any of the kids we're talking about are smart enough to last 5 minutes on one of
that's
those
what I'm
shows.
saying.
You actually have to know something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they actually ask you questions.
Yeah, and nowadays, everyone looks it up. I don't retain any of that. I'm like, hold on, I'm gonna Google it. Just a second.
What? You want me to come on here without my phone?
Exactly. You want me to think? I'm not gonna think. I'm gonna Google it. That's what the generation, last
When Mike and I were
15,
kids,
20 years.
we had 40, 60, 80 telephone numbers in our head.
Believe it.
Once.
These days, even we have trouble remembering our own phone number.
true.
I believe it.
It just changes.
It does.
And if somebody calls me and asks me for somebody's phone number, the problem is I have it, but it's in the phone that I'm talking to you
Yes,
on.
and you have to go look.
So I have to call you back and
Yes.
tell you what it is.
Oh,
All right. So
Okay.
you're.
Hey, my friend, come over here.
You see?
Come over here.
See now, come
don't let
on.
him come at the end.
Come
You're
on.
already here. Come
on.
on in.
This is the former star of our show. For those of you
wow.
who
Used to
stuck
be.
with us,
My
Well,
God.
this time-
Hello. Kira, nice to meet you.
James.
Hi,
Good to
James.
see you.
It's good to see you too, man.
yes,
Look at you.
You know,
so,
I didn't mean to
Mr. James,
mess up your show.
we're
Oh,
glad
it's
to
like-
see you. We're glad
it's
to
like
see you.
I should get out of the seat so you can sit down.
Don't bother. I was looking for the control room because
Well-
I didn't want to bother you.
Well, good you
Well, listen,
came
I'm
in.
glad you came. However, it is now time for the Big TV Unrehearsed Thespian Society's presentation for this evening. And this is, again, skimmed pretty much off the top of the archive.
Okay.
And it is entitled, in a reptilian sense, Vicissitude.
Vicissitude.
Vicissitude. I think you have to have fangs to say vicissitude
I
properly.
think so.
All right, action. Well, he finally made it.
The house with the lawn and yard.
His wife and kids love it.
Yeah, so far.
No friends.
It takes time,
And patience
She needs a car.
for shopping.
Music lessons, Cub Scouts, soccer.
Kids need transport.
Well, it is a long commute to work.
But this is the suburbs, man.
The promised land.
And gas prices, oh boy.
Mortgage interest and taxes keep climbing.
He bought it for $150,000. Recession prices.
Seems like a fortune to me.
Everyone is doing it. Everyone else, that is.
Be a homeowner.
Optimism is endemic.
President says the economy is recovering.
Now is the time.
Yeah, well, the war isn't going so well.
He flew over to meet the troops,
Guy could get laid off.
Bills, bills, bills.
But he's in the suburbs.
Yep, the American dream.
But Congress battles over Congress.
There's always another job,
And so it drags on.
She goes back to work, though.
Nothing new there.
Kids love the Idol shows, reality TV.
Yeah.
Local pub dulls things.
Grass doesn't look so green.
Yeah, no, now it's nightmares.
Kids' obsession is tiresome.
News and media don't let up.
Day and night. But the elections are over.
And new babies are nice.
Breakup comes a week later.
Mom and Dad have to worry.
Things aren't happening.
And losing self-confidence.
And the pile of bills to pay gets higher and higher.
And gloom descends.
And the papers are full of teenage stars.
Ah, what about going to university?
Well, State College anyway.
Sure, and affordable.
Funny headlines.
Yeah, not from Iraq and Afghanistan.
We nailed Moneybags Karzai.
They nailed him, yeah. Is it all coming apart?
We need some more adult behavior.
Ha, no more finger pointing.
Show some grit.
Take a job in China or India.
Way too much adolescent behavior.
Nose rings and tattoos.
And a rapper who keeps falling down.
And the world gasps.
Meanwhile, the credit cards max out.
Outsourcing is not so freakish.
A childlike view.
It's cheaper 10,000 miles from here.
But we like living here.
In our own little home.
Without clothes, styles, or lack.
Bizarre makeup.
All the friends we've made.
Clubs, church, school.
Belly buttons.
Okay, so we'll relocate.
Wife and kids won't budge.
Al Qaeda despises all this stuff.
I see movies with this plot.
Are veils and shadows better?
Breaking up is hard to do.
Pop music is deafening.
Dance is exhausting.
This, my friends, is a different America.
But a book about rap?
Hope is alive.
The president is upbeat, I think.
Polls are better.
Kids know lyrics to new songs.
Urban security counts.
So many pressing problems.
I hate rap language, you know. I can't handle that.
Show some compassion.
It's global.
Whales are in trouble.
You're not serious.
What about Janet's wardrobe that malfunctioned at the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
remember?
you know, things happen. That's ancient history.
Yeah.
It's fashion. It's just a matter of self-expression.
Oh, artistic license, but bigger fines.
Maybe condos are better.
Well, I like those nasty talk shows.
The president and the VP are adamant about bipartisanship, maybe. I don't know.
But partisan consensus only.
State election results were fun. Our state.
Very interesting.
Out of the box, of course.
It is still lovely.
What about suburbia?
We've got our own troubles, Mike.
Yeah?
Well, what about jobs?
That old song again?
I once knew a guy from Hoboken who complained that Congress was broken. Then the election was over. He'd spilled beer on his sofa. Then a friend told him that he'd been fired.
Blackout.
Like, like the Congress was broken, the elections were over. He'd spilled beer on his sofa.
Yeah, but it's the
So he was
last
supposed
line
to.
I couldn't rhyme.
You couldn't
down
rhyme
anything.
fired with. Yeah.
I was trying to find
They told him
something
he'd
to
been
rhyme with fired, and I lost
Yeah,
the sofa.
yeah.
That's for the man, Donald, you know,
Yes.
the blackout.
We still talk too much about that man. I don't understand why
Well, I
you
agree with you. We don't.
give him so much attention and energy.
Well, it's an interesting thing. I've been, for lack of something better to do, I guess, I've been timing the news.
Very
Okay.
good.
And
got
I
something
have
better to do.
discovered
Okay.
that the network evening news, you look at the schedule and it says it's a half hour of news. But if you time it, it averages about 17 minutes or 17 and a half minutes.
Of news, yeah.
But it's sneaky because the first 15 minutes always has 12 or 13 minutes of news in it. And the second 15 minutes of the show has 4 to 5 minutes of news in it.
There you go.
You get more news. You average 22 minutes of news on a local news broadcast. And the irony of that is that they're on for like, I'd say a half hour show. But they
Farmers.
string all these shows together, so they're on for like 2 hours.
Okay.
Farmers, bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Of course, the problem is they have one show and then they have another show and then they have another show and they're all news. News at 4, news at 4:30, news at 5. But they just start over from the top again.
That doesn't make
I
any
press
sense.
that button that shuts off all that talking stuff, only that we don't want to listen to.
Well, why turn it on if
But
you
I-
don't want to listen to it?
Well, I want to hear about the new medicine every night. They always have 14 new kinds of medicine.
Well, that's the ads.
Yeah.
In other words, he turns on for the ads.
Yeah,
funny.
I just want
Yeah,
the
see,
names.
what new stuff are they on? The pharmaceuticals
Something
slapping.
to annoy your doctor with. Right?
Next week, I'm going to bring in the names of all the new medicines.
Oh my God.
So that,
Tell me about this one.
while
I
you're-
want free samples of this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Here's the Here's the thing I get about that. It is ridiculous that almost all the news shows are by some pharmaceutical that they're trying to convince you that you need is desperate. But they have verbal fine print on the things, Do not take it, blah, blah, blah. And one of the things is always, do not take Farxiga if you're allergic to
Farxiga is good.
Farxiga.
I took that. It's
How
nice.
would
Farxiga.
you know you're allergic to it if you've never taken it?
That's a good question.
I mean, that was written by some lawyer who never took a biology class in his life.
But she
Maybe.
can find out about that, though.
Oh, you have such faith in me. Like,
I-
my tiny little legal in that I have in the world seems to make me an
Let's
expert
get on
in
to North
everything.
Carolina quickly before things
What's
collapse.
happening?
North Carolina?
Yeah, all those crooks, unfortunately, they're the wrong party,
Oh, the guy who got elected?
No,
No, they had to rerun an election in
Yeah.
North Carolina
Listen
because
to
the
Because of
Republican
fraud.
who won was convicted of fraud in the election,
Was that the one against Stacey Abrams?
No, that
No.
was Georgia.
Okay.
But so they reran it, right? And the Republican they pulled out of the woodwork to run actually won,
Right.
which was a real shame. But you want to talk about total disgusting candidates?
Wait a minute. The deception of North Carolina, it's continued. They wanted to make sure that the Democrats could do nothing in the next several weeks or months in legislation. So they told the Democrats, we're not going to run anything. We're not going to talk about anything tomorrow morning. We won't touch any of these programs that we've all worked on. So you can come around noontime. That's when you. And what did they do? As soon as the next day shows up,
They overturned everything before noon.
9 o'clock in the morning, they all had all their crowd there, and the Democrats were still home, most of them, and it's really. And they said it's so deceptive, this crowd.
Well, there's something more shameful than that in the
Okay.
election scene,
Okay.
and that's Joe Arpaio is running
What
for
is
re-election.
that's just like insane. Like this
He-
is all got to stop. We're living in bizarro world.
He's 87 years old, on top of being one of the biggest sleazeballs.
I mean,
on
he's
earth.
already been. He was in jail, right? Was
So
he not
was
in jail?
convicted
and
Convicted
charged
in jail.
by
So what's he
Yes,
running
I know.
for
orange
now?
asshole.
What's he running for?
He's running for sheriff again.
Oh, good. That's a good job
Oh
for
my
him.
goodness.
You know,
Yeah, if they
It's
ever-
like he's now thinks he's absolved of his wrongdoing because
Jeez,
well, in a sense, he was
yes.
legally he was.
But we all
because-
know morally.
No, of course not. But now, one last thing is
yeah.
we have a very serious epidemic of Eastern equine encephalitis
yes.
going on. And it's not that far from us.
No,
One
it
has
isn't.
to be really careful of mosquitoes.
I would say that's a mosquito thing that's going
right,
around.
until
Okay.
we get a hard frost.
I told all
But
the
we're
people.
out there, we're spraying from the air, we're spraying with trucks running down the street, which is very interesting to me because the Brookline Kesawake Sister City program has been sending money down to Nicaragua
Tell them more.
so
Nicaragua.
that, so,
Okay.
so that they can take their pickup trucks with spraying apparatus and drive around town spraying for mosquitoes in Nicaragua, because down there the mosquitoes are giving people dengue.
Yeah, oh, that's another
And
one. A very
deng-
bad.
Dengue fever.
Yeah.
Dengue is bad. Now the thing is that dengue is much more prevalent than triple E, but triple E is about as likely to kill you.
Yeah, I think that's the big difference.
You know, and anything that can kill horses, I don't want.
Well, I mean, the fact that there's already been human,
Speaking
deaths,
of
like
killing
a woman
horses-
was
7
tops.
horses.
Yeah, I mean, that's just.
Speaking of killing horses, in California,
They shoot horses, don't they? Good
yeah,
movie.
30 horses had to be put down in California in this season of the.
Right at
Racing.
the racetrack. There.
Yeah, but that was because their trainers
Well, I thought that was something else.
were
Like they had to
pumping
shut
things
down.
into them, not
Because remember
not
that one where the horses
mosquitoes.
kept dying, right? Like the horse, there was that racetrack where the horse,
Yeah.
like a horse died every other day or
Right,
something.
that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
30.
But
the thing
why?
is, a whole bunch of them have died at Belmont just in this second season
Right.
of things. Now, most of them were, because of, they broke a leg or something, and so they euthanized them. But I mean, 30 horses in one racetrack.
Very bad.
I remember we outlawed greyhound racing because we thought it was cruel to the dogs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think maybe there should be an end to horse racing.
Well, I kind of feel you're
I mean,
on the
any
right track on this one.
animal exploitation, anything that abuses them, anything that affects the quality of their life, all of that needs to be addressed. This is not an acceptable way. I mean, humans, we know better, and if we know better,
Anyway, the problem is, however, that there wouldn't be many horses if you did away with horse racing.
Yeah. Well, you could still go out on the plains there. They got all those wild horses.
No,
out
they
there.
don't. No.
No, they're not.
They've been selling those to meat packers
I know
for
they've been
years.
set, but they're still out there. They're still.
well,
I
also
saw
they'll
the
still be
numbers.
horse breeding. There'll always be horses.
They have a lot of them still. They have to keep They let them do this so that they can cut down the number, and they won't eat up all the grass on the government lands.
They're not worried about that. They're worried about their eating grass that those darn ranchers out there who don't pay us for anything have their cattle running on. And anyway, on the high note, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for this evening. This has been the Fun Show here from Big TV. And we'll see you next week, same time, same station.